I want to start with a scenario that I think a lot of agents can relate to. You record a video, you put real effort into it, you post it, and then it gets 40 views, 30 of which are probably you and people you know, and then it just sits there. And you start wondering whether YouTube is actually worth it, or whether you just don't have a big enough audience yet, or maybe whether the algorithm has it out for you. I know I had those very same thoughts. Here's what's actually going on in most of those cases. The video is not getting found, not because the content is bad, but because it wasn't set up to be found. The title, the description, the tags, all of it was either guessed at or left at default. And without those elements working together, YouTube has no idea who to show the video to. YouTube SEO is not complicated, but it is specific. And most agents are skipping it entirely, which means the agents who do it even halfway correctly have an enormous advantage. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I set up every video I publish so that it does get found by the right people. Not just by people who are already following me, but by people who have never heard of me and are actively searching for what I create. I'm Meg Estes, I'm a real estate agent, and I'm building a modern business in the public eye. I share exactly what I'm doing in my business, including the things that took me way too long to figure out. So subscribe if you would like more of this. I drop new content every single week. And if you're an agent who is building this kind of business, which is content driven, system backed, thinking long term, and you want to connect with someone who operates in that same way, I would love to chat. My number is 520-980-9880. You can hit me up there, or you can find the link in my description and we can chat. Not a sales call, just a conversation between agents who are building something similar and possible partnerships. So before I get into these specific tactics, I want to make sure the strategy behind them actually makes sense, because I think a lot of agents treat YouTube SEO as optional polish when it's actually foundational. Here is the core thing to understand about how YouTube works. YouTube is owned by Google. It is the second largest search engine in the world. When someone types a question into Google, something like, is now a good time to buy a home in Arizona? Or how does eXp Realty revenue share work? Or even best neighborhoods in Tucson for families? YouTube videos show up in those results right there on the page of Google. That means a YouTube video that is properly optimized is not just a piece of content. It is a searchable asset that can actually generate views and leads for years from people who have never heard of you before. The video earns its spot in the search results once and then keeps delivering for as long as the topic remains relevant. Compare that to a video with no SEO. That video is essentially invisible to anyone who doesn't already know your channel exists. The only people who will ever see it are existing subscribers and maybe a small percentage of their networks. That is a fundamentally different ceiling. The difference between a video that compounds and a video that sits is almost entirely in the setup. Same content, same production quality, completely different results based on whether the title, description, and metadata are doing their job or not. So let me show you exactly what the setup looks like. The title is the single most important SEO element for any YouTube video. It is the first thing the algorithm reads, the first thing a viewer reads, and it determines more than any other factor whether someone clicks or scrolls right past. Most agents write YouTube titles the way you would write a caption. Something catchy, a clever turn of phrase, something that sounds good. And those titles perform terribly in searches, because search is not about sounding clever. Search is about matching exactly what someone is typing into their search bar. Here's the principle. Your title needs to include the exact phrase someone would type out in order to find this video. Not a paraphrase of it, not a creative version of it, the actual phrase. So instead of the truth about buying a home right now, which is a fine caption, but a terrible search title. You write, should I buy a house in Arizona right now? Here's my honest take. Because that second version matches exactly the kind of questions someone types when they are sitting at home at 10 p.m. wondering whether they're ready to make a move, let me give you the title formula I use for 3 main video types I create. So for market update videos, the city, real estate market update, year and month, or month and year. The exact format gets searched every single month by people in your market. Simple, specific, consistent. For FAQ videos, the title is literally the question your viewer is asking, phrased the way they would phrase it. How much do I need to put down to buy a house in Arizona? Not down payment requirements for Arizona buyers. Their language, not industry language. That's what's important. So for decision and perspective videos, lead with question or the tension, then add up to a credibility signal. Is EXP really worth joining in 2026? My honest take after blank years. The second function of the title is driving clicks. A good SEO title gets you found, but it does not also make someone want to click. The search impression is wasted. The way to do both at once is to be specific and honest. Specific titles outperform vague ones every single time because specificity signals that you know what you're talking about and that the viewer is going to get a real answer, not a general overview. One rule I follow without exception, never use more than 9 or 10 words in a YouTube title. YouTube truncates long titles in search results and on mobile, which means the most important words. Usually the searchable phrases get cut off. So keep it tight. Every word should earn its place. Now, the description is where most agents either writing nothing or copy and pasting their captions or add a wall of keywords that reads like it was written by a robot. None of those approaches work. Here is what high-performing YouTube descriptions actually do. It tells the algorithm what the video is about in natural language. It gives viewers a reason to watch and a clear sense of what they will get. And it includes the most important keywords in context. Not stuffed in, but used naturally the way you would actually talk about the topic. My description structure has 4 parts. The first is a 2 to 3 sentence opening that describes exactly what the video covers and who it's for. This should mirror the language of the title and reinforce the core search phrase. The algorithm reads the first 150 characters of the description very carefully. So front load the most important information. The second part is a bullet list of what the viewers will learn. This is both an SEO signal, which gives YouTube additional context about the topics covered in the video, and it's a conversion tool. People scan descriptions before they even decide to watch. A clear bullet list of specific takeaways makes the decision easy. The third part is your call to action with your contact information. For me, that is always my phone number, 520-980-9880, and a note that I'm always open to connecting. Not a pitch, just a clear, low pressure invitation. The fourth part is your chapter timestamps. Chapters serve 2 purposes. They improve the viewer experience by letting people navigate to the sections that they care about the most, and that increases the watch time, a major ranking signal for YouTube. And they also appear as search results on their own. YouTube can surface individual chapters from your video in search results, which means well-titled chapters can get found independently of the main video. Write your chapters like mini titles. Each one should be specific and descriptive, not generic. Not introduction or section 3. More like why YouTube SEO is different from every other platform. Or the title formula I use for every video. Specific chapter titles help the algorithm understand your content at a granular level. Tags are the third SEO element and also the most misunderstood one. I want to give you an honest picture of how much they actually matter because the conventional advice on YouTube tags is badly out of date. Tags used to be a primary ranking signal for YouTube. Creators would stuff dozens of tags into every video, and it made a real difference. That is no longer true. YouTube's algorithm has become sophisticated enough to understand what a video is about from its title, description, transcript, and viewer behavior. And it relies on those signals much more heavily than it relies on tags. Tags do still matter, but in a narrow way. They are most useful for two specific situations. First, they help YouTube understand which other videos and channels yours is similar to, which does affect where you appear in the up next and related video section. And second, they help you rank for long tail and misspelled versions of your main keyword that might not appear naturally in your title or description. My approach to tags is pretty straightforward. I include the exact phrase from my title, 2 or 3 broader category keywords that describe the general topic, a few specific long tail variations of the main phrase, and my name and channel brand. That's usually 10 to 15 tags total. I do not spend more than 5 minutes on tags, and neither should you. The more valuable keywords work happens in the title and description. If those are solid, tags are a minor optimization. If the title and description are weak, no amount of tagging will fix that. I want to add one element that is not technically SEO, but it does affect your search performance more than people realize, and that is your thumbnails. Here's why this matters for SEO. YouTube's algorithm uses click-through rate as a major signal for whether to distribute a video more broadly. Click-through rate is the percentage of people who see your video in search or suggested results and actually click it. A high click-through rate tells YouTube that people are interested in the video, which causes YouTube to show it to more people. A low click-through rate has the opposite effect. Even if the video is ranking well initially, poor click performance will suppress its distribution over time. Your thumbnail is the primary driver of click-through rates, not the title, the thumbnail. People see the thumbnail and the title together, but in a split second, their eyes go to the image first. If the thumbnail does not create enough curiosity or trust to make them stop scrolling, the best title in the world will not save that. The thumbnail principles I follow. Your face should be in most thumbnails because it builds trust, and human faces stop scrolls more reliably than graphics alone. The expression matters. Curiosity, surprise, and directness all outperform neutral or smiling. Text on the thumbnail should be 3 to 5 words maximum and in a large font. And it should complement the title rather than repeat it. And your thumbnail should look consistent across your channel. Same font, style, color palette, etc. So that over time, your content is recognizable before someone ever even reads the title. Test your thumbnails by looking at them at the thumbnail size on the phone screen. If the text is unreadable or the image is unclear at that scale, fix it before you publish it. Most people are discovering your videos on mobile. Design for that context. Now, let me close by giving you a simple pre-published checklist that I run through every video or before every video goes live. This takes about 10 minutes, and it's what the difference between a video that gets found and a video that doesn't. First, does the title include the exact phrase someone would search for? Is it specific? Is it 10 words or fewer? Second, does the first sentence of the description include the primary keywords naturally? Does the description tell a viewer what they will get and include a clear call to action? Third, are the chapter timestamps written with specific descriptive titles rather than generic labels? And fourth, do the tags include the exact title phrase, 2 or 3 category keywords, and 2 or 3 long tail variations? We have 5, which does the thumbnail include your face, clear readable text, and look consistent with your other videos? If the answer to all 5 of these is yes, then the video is ready. That is the whole checklist. It sounds simple because it is. Most agents skip it entirely, which is exactly why doing it consistently is such a competitive advantage. The agents who treat every video like a permanent searchable asset, set up properly, optimize intentionally, they build a library over time that generates inbound indefinitely. The agents who post and hope to get 40 views and wonder why YouTube is not working, it works. You just have to set it up to work. Now, if you're an agent who is taking this seriously, building real content, optimizing intentionally, and thinking about YouTube as a long-term business asset rather than a social media account, I would like to connect. Not to coach you through the basics, but to see whether we are agents who are building similar things and might have something real to offer each other. Text me at 520-980-9880. Or if this video resonated with how you think about building a business, that is usually a meaningful signal. Subscribe and drop a comment telling me which of these 5 elements you are going to fix first on your next video. I would love to read them, and I would love to respond, and I would love to chat. I'll see you in the next one.